The Russian Defense Ministry says hundreds more Ukrainian soldiers defending Mariupol's Azovstal steel plant have surrendered. For weeks, Ukrainian forces have been resisting the Russian offensive from within the port city's sprawling steelworks, but now the fight looks to be coming to an end. Moscow says since Monday, nearly 1,000 troops have laid down their weapons and handed themselves over. Reports say the soldiers are being taken to Russian-controlled territory, but Ukrainian officials dismiss the surrender claims, instead saying the soldiers are being evacuated. For more analysis on this, let's speak to our correspondent, Sasha Bakalina. Sasha, good to see you. We've seen around another 700 soldiers leave the steel plant today, 1,000 in total, but their whereabouts still remains unclear. What more can you tell us?
Absolutely. Ukraine has not said anything about the whereabouts of those Ukrainian defenders as of now. From Russian side, we did hear that they have been taken to hospitals, some of them, those who needed assistance, but most of them were taken on buses to a detention center at Olenivka, which is Russian-controlled territory of Ukraine. Now, according to the leader of the self-declared Donetsk People's Republic, there's Ukrainian commanders inside the Azovstal plant in Mariupol are not among those that left the steelworks. So there are still some defenders apparently inside the Azovstal. This is also the information that we have heard from official Kyiv earlier, but they did not want to say exactly how many of those defenders are still in Azovstal, saying that this information is way too sensitive. What happens next to those who were evacuated from Azovstal? Now, this is really tricky and unclear. We have heard some really alarming statements from Moscow by Russian lawmakers who said, and I'm quoting here, Nazi criminals should not be exchanged. We should do everything to ensure that they're put on trial. Animals in human form, they have been called by some. Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Malyar said today that these statements are most likely made for a domestic audience and domestic propaganda in Russia, according to Kyiv. There have been negotiations and there will be a prisoners exchange. They're not revealing any information or details about that either, saying it is indeed very, very sensitive. We just know that according to officials in Kyiv, there is an agreement, and this agreement was brokered between the two sides, as well as with the UN and Red Cross participating. This is all the information we have heard officially from Kyiv and Ukrainian authorities, Paul.
This siege seems to be drawing to a close. It's taken months, in fact, to end. Why has it been such a focus, and why has the Azov Brigade been such a focus for the Russian military?
Well, first of all, look, let's speak about who was there, who was inside the Azovstal steelworks. Among those people, defenders, Ukrainian defenders who were there, there was the 36th Special Marine Brigade of Ukraine's naval forces. There was a brigade for National Guard, border guards, police officers. There were also volunteers, those people who joined the territorial defense right when the war started. And then, of course, there is the Azov Regiment, which is now part of Ukraine's National Guard. Now, we have to talk here a little bit more about Azov Regiment itself. It was founded in 2014, and indeed, among the initial founders, there were people who shared some rather far-right views. And this is something that you might hear quite often when people are talking about the Azov Regiment. Then later on the year, the founders and the commanders changed, and in 2014, actually, Azov militia was folded into Ukraine's National Guard. They are under the control of Ukraine's Interior Ministry. In 2014, they played a crucial role in helping to defend Mariupol and to take it back from Russian forces and pro-Russian separatists. Back in 2014, when right after the annexation of Crimea, pro-Russian separatists tried to take over Mariupol as well, and for a while, for a few weeks, the city was under their control and the heavy fighting was happening here. So ever since 2014, Azov Regiment and Mariupol are of particular importance and significance for Moscow and for Russia. These were the guys and these were the defenders who stopped pro-Russian separatists back in 2014. Also, quite often one could hear the statements from Moscow, like the one from Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who used the presence of Azov Regiment to justify the bombing of the maternity ward in Mariupol in early March, and he said that Azov Regiment and other radicals were hiding in the building, and that in fact the hospital was not a hospital, it was Azov base. This is how important Azov Regiment and the other defenders who were still inside the Azovstal steelworks are. So the questions now are, if there is a prisoners exchange, how would they work, and what is that very sensitive agreement that was brokered between Ukraine and Russia?